Welcome back. It's time to unlearn what you have learned. And I know I've been away for a little bit, but it is what it is. Every time I actually have a situation, I have to, try to, and I apologize for the noise in the background because I'm just doing this kind of, on the fly, and my daughter's on a rampage. So, with that being said, we're seeing all these things happening right now. Uh, I'll get to this Nicki Minaj thing because I think this is really funny. Which I just watched something on that and I was like, huh, that's interesting. But anyways, the Epstein files were released by mistake. Nah, bruh. Nah, if we know how these people work, we know that these things don't happen just to happen. You know what I'm saying? There's always a plot or a plan or something behind something, behind something, behind something. We should already know this. Now, here's the other thing we don't need to understand or know what the details are exactly when we've already gotten there's certain information from those who were involved, the victims who pointed, called people out. Pictures were shown where people were in the same room with the same people concerning the same situation. Whether there was nothing going on in these pictures or videos, whatever, they were in the same vicinity. Then they tried to lie about it. And if you don't know who that was, one of them was a part of the royal family. I don't remember what his name was. You can look that one up. But either way, once again, those things were already shown. The U.S. is number one in inappropriate child stuff on the internet, pictures and videos. Tim Tebow has been going in on this, and some of the stories that I heard, I think I posted it, but I'm not sure. I'm sure I did, but there was one where he was talking about, this girl who was having the Bible read to her while she was being violated. I mean, come on, man, come on. You see what I'm saying? Just so that she would have to associate. Oh Lord. Mm, 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 mm. And right now, as we speak, there are those who are having situations and problems, so on and so forth. Feel like can't get a break. I get it, but we got people out here who are really going through it, man. Really going through it, suffering, begging, pleading, crying for help, and they can't get it. And some people say, "Well, it's God's fault. God did this. Blah blah blah. He could do." Yeah, technically, yes, but it's a part of the whole free will thing. Those things have to happen. And if that's the case, look at the thing with Jesus. Look what happened to him. Do you think that God just wanted to let that happen? In a way, yes, because without that, we couldn't be saved. So, I have to mention some stuff on the King on early Christmas morning because I'm here awake, been awake since probably like 3 o'clock, and came upon some stuff, and I'm like, you know what, I need to speak on this. And like I said, I'm sorry for the background noise. I got my daughter. I gotta keep her on and grind and do all that stuff. So what I'm saying, as long as you can hear me and you understand what I'm saying, that's all I care about. What I'm saying. Um, I'm just like y'all don't the rabbit hole. You got to keep looking, bruh. There's something that we're missing here, and people, oh, you look too much into stuff. Like that's what I'm supposed to do. Because I know it can't be that easy. It can't be that easy for them to release the files. Be like, oh yeah, it was oops. Yeah, come on now. Y'all know better than that. If y'all know, y'all know. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody doing nothing. They just let me see. There was a one of the Fast and Furious franchises that he said something about one of the characters that I think his name was Shaw, and I think it was he or she said that you don't get close to Shaw unless he wants you to. So obviously, dude was a step above, a step above. He's always ahead. You know what I'm saying? If you do get close, he wanted you to be that close. So, I mean, All this stuff that's out there, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't, because I've been through all these different situations, looking at different things. Um, let's talk about the whole Christ and kneeling and all that stuff, because I saw another video where it showed, which I wish I would have saved it. It was showing the Denver Broncos. They were all kneeling in the end zone and praying and all that stuff. And people were like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. That's what you're supposed to kneel for." Blah blah. Blah. I'm just like, "Come on, man, stop." Of course, yes, you're gonna kneel for Christ. That's number one. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. But let's be clear. Jesus Christ was flipping over tables because of what? Oh, injustices. Yes. But yet, y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all don't want to. Oh, we don't. We're past kneeling. I thought we was past that. You sit there and you got mad at Kaepernick for doing what he did, and he respectfully did it. This has been reported over and over again. He was actually sitting down, and someone came up to him from the armed forces and said, "Hey, brother, out of respect, why don't you kneel?" And then y'all, even with that, y'all was like, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "Come on, man, come on." Like I'm sorry, but it just doesn't make sense. Like even when you have the truth right in front of you, you're still like, And I know some people say, "Oh man, you know what you're talking about," but bro, I've been doing this for a long time and looking at stuff. And I've been finding out a lot of different stuff, and my eyes have been open to all the BS, all the tricks, all the stuff that would make you. And my daughter's about to freaking bust her biscuit, so give me a second. Yeah, that's right. Sit your butt down. Oh, this is going to be an entertaining one. Just, dude, I'm totally flabbergasted by how people just continue to go down the same path and continue to be played by these people who have all the power, who have all the money, who have all the control. You keep getting played. We're so gullible when it comes to these things, man. It's just like this thing with Nicki Minaj. Oh yeah, she deactivated her account. She lost 10 million. Apparently that wasn't true. Apparently her account was deactivated like in October or some junk like that. Some people think, oh, maybe she's changed and maybe she's done this. Maybe, see what I'm saying? The line, it just don't make no sense. If I put it this way, let me scroll down here a little bit because I know it was about the whole turning point thing. They're the last ones I would go to after what I've seen since after Charlie Kirk's death. Bless his soul, even if that's the truth. Who knows? Because there's so much going on with that. The one thing that sticks out to me is the guy who obviously did it, and the gun and how he broke it down. There's too many holes in the story to get a clear picture of what really happened. But obviously, what we saw is not what we think or what we should be thinking. So, but Turning Point is the last person. That's the last place I would go. That's the last place I would go, bro. She already been called out on her stuff. Then she tried to retract it and say, "Oh, my rings were this, and that, blah blah." Woman, stop it. Y'all always being tricksy. Y'all always doing stuff y'all ain't supposed to be doing. And like once again, I'll prove it to you. And this is off topic, but the same thing. Tiger Woods. What happened with him? What happened with Tiger Woods? You remember that? He was going out getting crazy, doing his thing. He was married to homegirl, blah blah blah, and then that whole situation kind of fumbled. Come on, man. It just shows you right there who these people are. Now, Tiger was just doing what I would think any man would do, because he's got the money, he's got the, and he's the women are coming, everything else that comes with the territory. Watch the Lakers show, or was it Showtime? Uh, it was a documentary about the Showtime Lakers. So it comes with the territory. Girls gonna be coming. And you go, Kobe Bryant. He had that chick that had that situation. Once again, that's how they come. But then it turned around on him because she tried to claim that he raped her and stuff like that. Ain't nobody doing that. They don't have to. They really don't. They do some of these guys. They do some of these guys do awful things. Because they feel like they can get away with it. And yeah, yeah. So with that being said, it's kind of up in the air, and you don't know what to expect or what to think, or whatever else. But the main part of that is that these women automatically put themselves in the situation because they want to be around this person who's a superstar, who's a celebrity, whatever, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? You got your, people who, man, my daughter's going crazy, and she's looking right at me too. So you got all these, women that are throwing themselves at these, famous people, sports players, so on and so forth. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. So once again, people just need to understand, man. It's not just because of what you see in front of you doesn't mean that's what it is. That saying is, believe nothing of what you hear and half of what you see. There's all these different things, and I've had so many different disagreements on certain situations with people because it's based on what's truth, what's lie, what's wrong, and what's right. That's what it comes down to. It don't come down to anything else. And once again, because of how we are, we only want it to be truth when we want it to be truth. We accept the lies more than we accept the truth. We say we want the truth, but we end up accepting that lie before we accept the truth. If you look at the situation with the Bible and Jesus, and no one wants, nope, don't want to hear it. But yet there's all this proof scattered all over the world, from the Red Sea to Mount Sinai to all these different places, even Egypt. It's all there. It's all there. But yet these people keep throwing freaking screwdrivers and freaking wrenches into the whole situation, getting you confused, because that's what Satan's job is. Satan's job is to confuse. He is the master of deception. He is the person who comes to kill, uh, steal, and I can't remember the other one. Um, if you look at the whole situation with the Rainbow Crew, I'm not gonna say all of them because all of them are like they're just trying to live their life. That's all they're trying to do, and I get that. As a Christian, or a person, a follower of Christ, I'm like, okay, I understand that that's your position. That's what you're going through. But I will say, because of the situation and you're putting yourself in sin, you're automatically putting yourself in danger. That's all I can say. But as long as you're not coming at me with no crazy junk and disrespecting me, I don't care. Don't expect me to agree with you or accept the situation because that's your situation, not mine. You know, so you can that can possibly be changed. Like my color of my skin, I can't change the color of my skin. I'm gonna be what I am. If I'm black, I'm gonna be black. If I'm white, I'm gonna be white. There ain't gonna be no changing of the colors. You know what I'm saying? So I can't change that. I can't change my height. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, actually, you can surgery and stuff like that, but that's different. It's not something you can go and do and not have to pay for, like go to the gym and work out, sculpt yourself, and eat right, and all that stuff. And I know I'm kind of rambling and everything else, but like I said, people, it baffles the hell out of me how we continue to keep going down the same path, and people sitting here, following freaking uh Turning Point and all this stuff, and not even you're seeing it right in front of you. I mean, from the point that they made the dang thing here in Arizona at State Farm Stadium, they already had that prepared and ready to go. It was already booked months in advance. They were already ready. And then on top of that, even if it was for something else, they still had to change all that and rearrange it and do all in that short amount of time. So they already had that ready to go, which makes it even more interesting. And of course, people have all these conspiracies about, where Charlie Kirk and Erica went and all this stuff. The thing that got me was their kids. They really, I don't even think they even have kids, honestly. That's just my opinion, and I will speak on that also when it comes to opinions. Opinions aren't facts. So, you know, people always say, oh, I just, my opinion, your opinion is not a fact. Like my opinion is not a fact. I just threw it out there because I was like, well, hey, that's my opinion. I'm not trying to force anything or make people believe something. I just, find it interesting that their children were always like not facing the camera. But okay, some people do that because of privacy. I get that, totally understandable. So there's always different ins and outs of the situation you can look at. But, I'm sorry this video is so long, but I have all this, on my mind. So I want to just get it out. And I tell you guys that, we need to really, really, really dig our feet deep into the ground and stop with the nonsense. That's it. Stop with the hate. Stop with the, because Jesus Christ, he was walking around and doing stuff and everything else. He didn't do nothing to nobody, and people hated him just for that. Just for that. Oh, and then also because he said he was the son of God and whatever else. And one of my main quotes I love that I can't remember what it was. It was a show that I seen it from. I don't know if he actually said it or not, but I'm just gonna quote it because it was just very powerful on what he said. Because the guys were coming after him. They were saying, "Hey, the law of I can't remember what the name they said, of Abraham or some junk like that." And then he just turned around and looked at him. He said, "I am the law." I was like, "Oh, got him." God. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I'm just paraphrasing on the whole situation. But once again, Jesus Christ is King. That's pretty much it. That's bottom line. And we are being totally separated. And I hope you stayed, because to get to this final conclusion that I'm, trying to get to is, as people, we are being led by the false shepherd. And as long as we're being led by the false shepherd, we're going to have hatred in our hearts. We're not going to have Jesus in our hearts. We're not going to have understanding in our hearts, because in order to have understanding, you have to have Jesus in your heart. There's all these different things that come on. Like I said, the whole kneeling thing, and, them people getting upset because people were kneeling because of injustices. Remember, Jesus flipped over tables because of injustices. He did that. So what, you going to tell Jesus that he's wrong for doing that? We should be beyond flipping tables? Is that what you going to tell him? No, you ain't going to tell him that. So once again, stop making everything like it's like, black fatigue, the victim thing, all that. There's so much, bro, that's going on. And I'm just like, y'all, you ain't seeing it. You ain't getting it. And as long as you let it keep going, bro, if that's what's going to happen. As long as you keep living in this dream world, that's what's going to happen. That's it. And I'll tell you right now, right now you running around and doing all this stuff, but I guarantee you when it really hits, when the stuff really comes, that realness, you're going to try to change your tune real quick, but it's going to be too late, because you already danced with the devil. You already put yourself, on his side, and you ain't going to have no choice but to go that way, because you ain't going to know how to deal with it, because you won't listen to nothing. You won't just take the time to be like, okay, you know what? Let me look at this, and this, because something ain't right. That's it. I posted many things that have to do with race, who has to do with, all kinds of situations with being anti-Semitic and all that stuff. And most of the stuff, which is funny to me, because I'm like, how is a person? Kanye came out and pointed out the fact that there was a lot of Jews running Hollywood in executive positions, so on and so forth. He just said, I just find that interesting. Oh, you're anti-Semitic. What? What? Wait, what? He didn't say like anything crazy. So, I mean, if you really want to go down that rabbit hole, you should look into Hitler. And people say, "Oh my God, he said Hitler." Yeah, I did, because when you look at what he was talking about, you find interesting stuff. We got AI and all this different technology. You can revert what his language into English, and then you can be able to hear what he's saying. So I'm gonna leave that one to y'all. I already know. I already knew before this whole situation. I had to start putting the puzzles together, and I was like, wait a minute, this don't make sense. That don't make sense. And the first thing that got me with Hitler was the whole Aryan Nation, brotherhood, and all that stuff, and how they were, hating on mostly black people. I'm just gonna put it out there. I mean, yeah, they had their hate spread out, but it was mostly against black people. I mean, hell, me growing up as you know, as a black man myself and as a black child, I've witnessed all that stuff. And I didn't understand it when I was a kid, so I just kind of went along with it and, whatever. And my mom tried to help me out here and there. And, that's it. But then when I started, I got older and I started learning more about, the situations with racism and our history, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, which Malcolm X don't get enough credit because once again, he was telling the truth. Some of the stuff that he said, some of the stuff that Malcolm said in the past resonates today. And I posted some stuff on what he said too. Um, I posted stuff about Charlie Kirk and the stuff that he said, turning it around on black people, saying that black people are the most dangerous people. Okay, so who came over here and tricked the Native Americans? Who came over here and made us, celebrate a day of Thanksgiving that was nothing but murder and okay. Who were the ones who had the slaves? And then not just be a slave, you were the bottom of the barrel. If you can sit here and think about how bad and ugly and nasty human beings are, you can only imagine what those people had to go through. But yet, oh no, the black people of today, they shouldn't be crying. They shouldn't be, they weren't slaves, blah blah blah. It's the fact of the matter is it goes through, it vibrates through history. You know what I mean? It's still going on today. Hell, I mean, most of the freaking Congress is all these people that are in Congress are freaking slave owners, freaking grandsons, and I mean, you know what I mean. They're all related to people who were freaking slave masters. I found that really interesting. But once again, gotta do your research. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research, man. That's what I've been doing. And I've had to sift and, I had to get through all this stuff. But once again, it tells on itself. It reveals itself. It's hidden in plain sight. But we don't see it because we're too busy being fooled by everything else. And the only way, and I hope y'all stay to the end, man. I hope you stay to the end because I know a lot of people get, annoyed and whatever else, get the point. I get it. I'm the same way. So I don't blame you. But the only way, excuse me, that we can do this, people, is together. As long as we're separated, divide and conquer. That's what it's about. If you see, that's all that's been going on, forever and a day, as long as I can remember. I'm 47 now. I was born in 78. So, I mean, I didn't see in a whole bunch of stuff and been through the times and whatever else. So, it's up to y'all, man. It really is. It is really up to y'all. It's up to y'all to come to Christ, to learn about what Christ was trying to tell us and teach. The Bible has everything you need to know. And, of course, there are situations people are figuring out now that I already talked about in the past. I actually showed Bible versions and stuff like that and how people took out verses and whatever else. And there's a lot of them. Even the King James version, which is probably the closest version to being correct as any other version. Even the King James version was changed because King James didn't want his people to revolt against him. So that whole section where it talks about the principalities and whatever, so on and so forth, that actually was worded differently. He just changed it because he didn't want the people to revolt against him. Mm, mm, Do your own research. Do your own research. Hope to see you again. I'm out. Peace.